built in 1880, that, except for plumbing and electricity, had not had much done to it since then. Their mom, Anne, loved architectural history, and she couldn't bear to modernize old buildings. To her, adding conveniences to a building meant losing its original character. "Think of the family that built this house," she would say. "Think how proud they were of this paneled wall, even if it has termites in it." She had painted the old oak floors of their Brooklyn house green, and that's how they had stayed, warped and green, the entire time the Smithforks lived there. Maybe the best thing about their Brooklyn home was that they had a yard. It wasn't much of a yard, so small their mom said she could mow the lawn with her tweezers. Still, it was a piece of the earth that was theirs, and they could go outside whenever they wanted. Now they were Manhattanites. It seemed everyone lived in apartments here, stacked one on top of another, just like the moving boxes. Worst of all, their mom was too busy to spend her days with them the way she always had. She was meeting with interior decorators and shopping for furniture, and she had hired Marisol, a stern woman from the Philippines, to be their nanny. Marisol was efficient and professional, and used to working with families more structured than their own. Their father wasn't strict at all. Mr. Smithfork used to be poor, and now he was rich. After college, when his friends went to work for investment banks on Wall Street, Bruce Smithfork couldn't pull himself away from games, specifically video games. Not only was he good at playing them, he liked to invent them. He started a company in their Brooklyn basement called Le Cube, and his game, the Pee-wee, was a big seller. Then something happened that changed everything. Bruce Smithfork sent the Pee-wee to one of his friends for his 40th birthday. His friend, who worked on Wall Street, liked it so much, he told Mr. Smithfork that his game was better than any game he had ever played, and Mr. Smithfork should take his company public. What he meant was for Mr. Smithfork to sell half of the Le Cube company to the public, giving the family a lot of cash and allowing the company to be traded on the New York Stock Exchange. Within weeks, their Brooklyn living room filled with men in suits. They spread long rolls of paper on the scuffed-up coffee table and punched numbers into calculators. They drank a lot of coffee. Finally, the day came when the men in suits left, and Mr. Smithfork rang the bell at the New York Stock Exchange. The kids couldn't believe it when he came home and said, "Hey, we're millionaires!" He swung their mom, Anne, around, and they all went out to eat at a diner. They ordered whatever they wanted and didn't take home the leftovers. After that, Bruce Smithfork went to work every day in a Manhattan office and wore a suit. He had real employees, rather than his own kids, to test his games on. He had shareholders who insisted his company grow and make more and more money. Anne Smithfork spent most of her time getting ready to move the family out of Brooklyn. She searched Manhattan for the perfect apartment. She shopped for furniture and curtains and schools for the children. She was rarely around during the day anymore. Still, until moving day, they were all sort of happy. On that day, Brid lost her appetite, and Patrick cried. CJ just kept reading books and said little. Together they watched as every item they owned was boxed and piled into a moving truck and driven away from their house with its tiny fenced-in yard and the security bars on the windows. The day after their stuff left, it showed up again in their new home, a Fifth Avenue apartment on the top floor of a historic building. The apartment had gotten tangled in an inheritance battle and remained empty for many years. For the better part of 70 years, it had been sitting silent and abandoned, as if waiting for something to happen. It was a huge space, and even though it had been cleaned, it seemed dusty and old. It had bedrooms for all the kids and their parents, a home office for Mr. Smithfork, high ceilings, and mahogany paneling and other fancy woodwork. There were words written on some of the walls in fancy script.